Welcome. The Kaiser has triumphed, my friends, because today we are going to check out the Hearts of Iron 4 Kalterkrieg mod. More precisely, Kalterkrieg Shadow of the Second Weltkrieg, a Cold War mod set in the world of Kaiserreich, where Germany and her allies stand battered and bruised, but nevertheless triumphant over the forces of the Third Internationale. However, old enemies in Canada and the French Republic have also risen from the ashes of the war, stronger than ever before with their own international organization in the form of the Accord. A long decade of war has left the world reeling, and not all are keen on seeing such a massive conflict break out once more. Thus, ideals shall clash as the nations of the world are forced to choose sides or be isolated and left in the past. This is Kalterkrieg, Shadow of the Second Weltkrieg, an era of crowns and atoms. Now we shall take a quick look at all of the countries here, the countries that are playable. The first we have Canada, which is basically the United Kingdom after the United Kingdom is liberated. The British exiles, as we know them in Kaiserreich, they are back on the island and they have reunified the United Kingdom under King Edward VIII. Then we have the Kingdom of Italy, which is a member of the Entente under Umberto II. Then we have New England, the American Union state. But let me show you the map, because just seeing countries is not going to explain anything. So the mod starts out in 1948. Germany has defeated the Third Internationale, but on the Eastern Front, the Germans were not able to cross the line of the river. As a result, a permanent ceasefire was signed between Boris Savinkov's Russian state and the German allying Reichspakt. Meanwhile, America still remains divided up between different warlords. And in the Far East, Japan has secured all of her ambitions of power over China, although not as much as she would have wished. It remains to be seen what will happen to the world, so let us take a closer look at it. The first is the German Empire triumphant over its enemies. It is ruled by Kaiser Wilhelm III. The current ruling party is Deutsche National Einheitsfront, or the German National Unity Front. Its ultimate aim is the centralization of Germany, to supplant the traditional multi-party Prussian constitutional system and replace it with an efficient centralized dictatorship. So these are all of its national spirits. Anyone who wants to read them can pause the video. Then we have its puppet states, which are the Kingdom of Poland under Wolfgang von Kreis, the Ukrainian state under Paulo Skorpatsky. Oh, I think that the Poles have still not managed to crown a king in this timeline, even though the Second Weltkrieg has ended. That is really bad. Then the Kingdom of Lithuania under Vytautas II. It is ruled by the Christian Democrats. Then the United Baltic Duchy is broken up into Estonia, Latvia under Janis Kurelis, and Kurland under Helmut Weidling. Weidling is in charge of the German pocket, and he leads the rump state strip of land that Kurland has become as the last remnant of the United Baltic Duchy. After that, we have the Netherlands, Belgium. These are very similar to what they are in our timeline, but here we have something different. See, the Germans made a deal with the Entente. They let the Entente return home in the United Kingdom. They let the French return home, but they never really let France reunify. As a result, there are two Frances. North France is a German puppet state under Fyodor von Bock. He speaks fluent German, and his men are extremely loyal. He spends his days in his office and Parisian cafes, counting the days until the military occupation of northern France ends and he may return to Germany and receive his hero's welcome. So, Field Marshal Fyodor von Bock is currently stuck. The Germans may give the land back to the French Republic, but that remains to be seen. After that, we have the French Republic under Albert Sarraut. Albert Sarraut is a member of the Parti Radical, the Social Liberal Party. All he wants is to return to the mainland and begin the road to recovery. Now we move on to the United Kingdom under Edward VIII. It was a solemn winter day in 1936 when the younger King Edward VIII commented that he was a king without a kingdom. Now that is no more. The monarchy has returned. Currently, a national government, basically an anti-syndicalist bloc of conservative and some liberal parties, have come together to form a government of national cooperation. It remains to be seen if the legacy of the Maximists or the lingering legacy of the German occupation will harm the new United Kingdom, or will they be able to bear it? Ireland is led by Richard Mulcahy of the Authoritarian Democrats. After that, we have the Spanish Republic. Spain was reunified by the Social Democrats. Portugal is again a revolutionary Republican republic under José Mendes Cabecadas. Basically, revolutionary republicanism is what non-syndicalist but syndicalist sympathizers call themselves in this post-syndicalist world. Kind of how many people call themselves as social nationalists after our own real world. Then we have the Danubian Federation, which is ruled by King Otto I. Again, it is a grand coalition led by the Christian Socialist Party. We have the Kingdom of Romania under Carol II, so he defeated Codreanu. We have the Tsardom of Bulgaria, again Social Democratic. The Kingdom of Serbia under the Serbian Radical Peasants' Democracy. We have the Albanians, the Kingdom of Greece. And then we have the Kingdom of Italy, which was reunified by Sardinia, and it is social conservative. The spirit of 1945, the capitulation of the Socialist Republic. It left a country with no more stomach for conflict. The economy is completely collapsed and the administration is disjointed. After that, we have the Ottoman Empire, which has survived under Sultan Ahmed IV, legacy of Sabahattin, and the century of humiliation. Then we have the minor states here, the Kingdom of Denmark, Norway, Sweden, Finland. And oh, Norway is radical socialist. It is the last remaining socialist state in Europe, and now it is a hermit state, isolated on all sides with no friend in the entire world. Then we have the Russian state under Boris Savinkov. Savinkov, after knowing that his army was no match for the Germans, decided to cut his losses and signed a peace treaty along this line. Despite his defeat, Savinkov's hold on Russia remains strong as ever. But as someone has said, people who make reform impossible will make revolution inevitable. After that, we have Syria, which is reunified by Sami al-Hanawi, the Republic of Iran under Ali Akbar Dawar, humiliation of the Cairo Pact War. Oh, so basically, after defeating the Turks in the Cairo Pact War, the Republic of Iran faced defeat at the hands of the Afghans under Muhammad Zahir Shah, who took advantage of their weakness. Then we have the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Muscat. They are pretty much the same. The Sultanate of Egypt is an extremely liberal sultanate under King Farouk I. The Emirate of Carinthia is ruled by King Idris I. I wonder how different Gaddafi will be in this timeline, but that's a question for later. Then we come to India. So India has been reunified by the Bharatiya Commune's more moderate government under Jawaharlal Nehru. It is a polarized party. The Indian National Congress is divided up into three different ideological blocs. Jayaprakash Narayan's leftist, Nehru centrists, and Morarji Desai's right wing. Nepal, oh, I see, the Indians have not really managed to reconquer Dehradun from Nepal. And South India still remains independent. The Maharaja of Mysore, Dravida Nadu, is a Dravidian state under P.T. Ranjan. Travancore state and Ceylon are independent. Then we have Burma, Thailand. Thailand is again a dictatorship. Luang Prabang, the Empire of Vietnam under Bao Dai, the Japanese protectorate in Malaya. Insulindia is led by Muhammad Hatta, who is an authoritarian democrat. The Australasian Confederation is still a British confederation. And then we come to China. So the Japanese empire is in a weird position here. On one hand, with the fall of America and the fall of the weakening of Europe due to constant war, there is no one, absolutely no one left to counter Japanese ambitions in China and the Far East. Japan now has a free hand to do whatever the H it wants. But at the same time, the Chinese are growing in power. The age of warlords is almost at an end, and new, more consolidated states have taken over. The first is the Beiyang government under Zhang Zuoliang, who is the son of Zhang Zolin. As Japan sent its waves of soldiers to punish the so-called rebellious state of Fengxian, Zhuliang saw an opportunity to redeem himself. With the help of his adjutant Li Zhengkao, he was able to free himself from the chains of vices. One by one, the Japanese fell as they witnessed the return of the young marshal, bolder and fiercer than ever. The Guangzhou government, led by the Kuomintang and the Federalists, have called our rule as nothing but autocratic and corrupt. But Zhang will look to change it. So Zhang is defeated and signed a ceasefire with the Japanese, but now he's at odds with the Guangzhou government led by Qi Huiyu. A doctor can't save China, but a revolutionary can. The CZG party is a social democratic party. They are federalists, and the only way to secure total power over China is victory against Zhang's illegal government, the Beiyang government. Then some minor warlords remain, like Mongolia, which is stuck between deciding what to do, support Savinkov or try to become more independent. Mongolia is led by Nikolai Berzarin. Then we have the Ma clique under Ma Bufang, who is the most radical leader of the Ma faction. He's a totalitarian dictator. He's a totalitarian dictator of one of the harshest warlord states in China. Then we have the Xinjiang clique under Liu Wenlong, and he pretty much supports China. Basically, he will reunify with whoever wants to reunify with China. Then we have the Bodpa Idepa under Gendun Chompe. He's a revolutionary Republican. After that, we have the Philippines, which is authoritarian democratic, and finally we come to America. So Canada, as I said before, it is led by Prime Minister Mackenzie King, and America is still divided between two different warlord states. The first is New England under Raymond E. Baldwin. So New England was created by the Canadians as a sort of not puppet states, but a close cooperative state with the Canadians, and it has remained so. Baldwin was the former governor of the state of Connecticut. After that, we have the Great Lakes government under Jacob Weiner, born to Romanian immigrants. His clique of economists is aiming to pull off an economic miracle to get the Great Lakes government up to the level that it needs. After that, we have the American Union State, which is led by Earl K. Long. He is the President of America and leader of the America First faction. Legacy of the Kingfish. On May 18, 1943, President Huey Long found himself the target of an unpatriotic and cowardly assassin. Okay. And now the America First Party is divided up between different power blocks, as you can see. The America First Conservatives under Rush Holf, then the America First Progressive under Sid McCarthy, the America First Corporatist under Earl K. Long, the America First Orthodoxes under Earl K. Long. So he has got two parts. Finally, we have the wholesome Chungus Pacific States of America under President Earl Warren of the Progressive Party. He's of the moderate camp. After that, we come to the United Mexican States, which is again radical socialist. So I guess they are the friends of Norway here. Let me show you. Okay, never mind. Then we have the Central American Confederation, again Social Democratic, Cuba Market Liberal, Haiti Dominican Republic, Jamaica, Costa Rica, Panama, Republic of Colombia, United States of Venezuela, Ecuador, Peru, United States of Brazil, Bolivia, Paraguay, Argentina, and the Republic of Chile, ruled by Carlos Ibanez del Campo. The United States of Brazil is led by President Francisco Solano da Cunha, scion of a wealthy Usinero family from Pernambuco. Francisco Solano Carneiro da Cunha became involved in politics from an early age. He can act independently in any matter of serious political importance. He is a liberal conservative, not really a full conservative, but a liberal conservative. Now let me show you the faction map. Yes. So as you can see, the Reichspakt dominates Europe after its victory in the Second Weltkrieg. But despite that, the Danubian Federation and most of the Balkans has not really joined the Reichspakt. The Reichspakt also controls most of Mittel Africa here. It is under Fritz Thyssen. His father was head of the Thyssen Mining and Steelmaking Company. That explains it. Then Liberia is ruled by William Tubman. Only real Kaiserredux OGs will recognize this tune. I am not going to reveal what tune this is. The Republic of South Africa is under Jan Smuts, Deutsche Mittelafrika. Then we have the Cairo Pact. So for some reason, the Syrians and Iraqis have not really joined it. Maybe they are Republicans and they do not support the monarchists of Idris, Farouk, and the Yemeni king, Ahmed bin Yahya Hamid. After that, we have the Entente, which is one of the most powerful. I mean, it is more spread out but weaker than the Reichspakt. The Entente is Britain, Portugal, France, Italy, most of Africa, and all of the British colonies. Then we have Cuba and Panama. And also the Great Lakes Confederation, New England, and Canada. Then we have the Great East Asian Co-Prosperity Sphere led by Japan. It contains most of East Asia except for Burma and China. And that is it. Now let me show you an endgame showcase so that you can get an idea of how this mod plays out. Okay? Yes. So this is a game where I played as an observer. I had no part to play in this game. So now it's 1960. 12 years have passed. And how has the world changed? The German Empire is now ruled by Kaiser Wilhelm IV. It is social conservative. France has got back entire France and it is now led by the social conservative government under an agrarian Catholic council of the state. And it is now ruled by King Henry VI, who was crowned. Wilhelmina has abdicated in favor of Juliana. The United Kingdom is now social conservative. Democracy has been restored. Spain is now no longer social democratic. Jose Maria Gil Robles y Quinones has taken over. He's an authoritarian right-wing Democrat. Again, in Portugal, the revolutionary Republican Party has fallen to paternal autocrats. The Kingdom of Italy is much the same as before. Same can be said for the Danubian Federation. But Poland has finally crowned a king, King Alexander II. Then we have the Ukrainian state. Basically, the Hetmanate was dissolved and an extremely pro-German government took over under Helmut von Panwitz. Then we have the Kingdom of Lithuania, Belarus. That is one of the most cursed states that I've ever seen in Hearts of Iron 4. We have the Duchy of Courland, Estonia, Sweden, Norway, Finland. Russian state, Boris Savinkov has passed away and was succeeded by Nikolai Vatutin. The true Russia, the Defense Council of the Revolutionary Army, is here to save Russia from the failed legacy of Savinkovism. After that, the Levant has basically completely blown up. Kurdistan is independent. The Arab Republic of Syria under Akram al-Havrani is independent. The SSNP has taken over under Anton Sadeh. It is condemned by the conservative Egyptians. Then Israel has been created under Avram Stern. Islamic State of Palestine under Abdel Qadir al-Husseini. Lebanon is independent. Egypt and Carinthia are pretty much the same. Protectorate of Morocco was established here. Then we have the Republic of the Republic of Iran under Ali Akbar Dawar, the same. India is now the left wing of the Congress party has taken over under Jayaprakash Narayan. And as a result of that, the Indians have basically India is much more leftist. Meanwhile, in China, the Federalists have been defeated by Zhang Ziliang, but he in turn was removed by Yang Yuting, who is much more friendly with the Japanese. As a result, China has now entered into a new position of cooperation, if not collaboration, with the Japanese. Now they side with Japan as equals. Much of Southeast Asia is pretty much the same. Australia seems to be the same. Then in New England, Thomas Davey is president of New England. He's a market liberal. Philip Hart. Ooh. Philip Hart of the Democratic Party is president of the Great Lakes government. The American Union state is now led by Strom Thurmond. He is the leader of the America First Party conservative faction, and you can probably guess his intentions and political opinions on the civil rights movement. Then we have the Pacific States of America, which is now led by President George Marshall. Again, he's a market liberal. Brazil is now ruled by a military junta under Zenobio da Costa, Junta Militar. And now finally let me show you. Oh wait, before we begin, People's Bulgaria. So Bulgaria seems to have had a revolution in the 12 years between 1948 and 1960, and now it's an authoritarian socialist totalitarian regime, a second hermit state to accompany Trygve Lie's Norwegian socialist government in a new world where socialism has been defeated. Yes, now let me show you all of the different ideological blocks in this world, and finally then we will end the video. The co-prosperity sphere pretty much the same, but look at the most important change. You see, the French were given land by the Germans, but it did not come free. In exchange for that land, the French left the Entente. They abandoned their old allies, the Canadians and the British, and became a part of the Reichspakt. The Entente broke up and a more British central or Italian central accord was set up. And a new entry to this accord is now Spain. So now it's Spain, Portugal, Britain, Italy, Greece, all of their colonies, Canada, Great Lakes, New England, Cuba, Panama, and South Africa, of course. Now, there have been a number of new warlords in Portuguese East Africa, Sud West Africa, Angola, Republic of Zambia, Katanga, Tanganyika, Republic of Malawi, the Congolese Federation, Ubangi Shari, Gabon, Republic of Cameroon, Nigeria, Kenya, Buganda, Empire of Ethiopia, which seems to have annexed Somalia, Nigeria, Dahomey, Togo, Ashanti, Liberia, Sierra Leone, and Guinea Portuguese. Now, Brazil is in an alliance of its own, and so is Argentina and Paraguay. Yes, so that is it. This is an extremely interesting mod. It is not really as crazy or weird as TNO. It is a very well grounded mod, so please download it if you're interested in a more realistic and moderate experience. I will leave a link to this mod in the description, and also please subscribe to the channel. Have a great day.